more bird song. This is ultimate last minute, let me tell you. This is as last minute as it gets. So, Morecambe Bay once again. Where else at the minute? Absolutely stunning. And all day we've had this real thick blanket of cloud. No light all day, no sunlight. And I've just noticed within the past 15 minutes, if that, we've just got this gap on the horizon to the west where the sun is obviously going to come down, and it's mad because we've still got all this thick blanket of clouds, and what I'm hoping is the sun is going to come down into that gap and light up all these clouds, and I think it's going to catch fire. I shouldn't talk like this because then it gets my expectations up, but I'm just an optimist. I think at the very least, as if it's a bad consolation, we're going to get the land, the beach, the whole bay is going to get painted with beautiful golden light. So I'm just chancing it really, and I haven't really got anything to lose because this is just ridiculous. It is so still, and now it's just a case of waiting for the sun to come down and, like I say, paint these sands. It's a good one, guys, it's a good one. Let's hope we can get some nice photographs. Fingers crossed. Look at that. Look at that. It's going to kick off. Do not leave this video. If there was ever a video of mine, oh my goodness, what is going to happen here? Look at the sky. That is the definition of epic. Oh, this is another one of these, guys. It's just been here. I've got the camera in hand. I'm going to grab some photographs, but in so many ways, the biggest cliche of them all, but because it's so true. Look at what photography gives to me. This, you know, a few years ago, I didn't care that these things were happening. I would have just been sat at home. And that, you know, just even the thought of that now gets me down a little bit because I keep saying this is life. Look at it. We've got a few birds, what are the oyster catchers, flying around the bay. Look, we got a few wading birds a bit further down over there. Oh, look at the colours. It just doesn't get any better than this. Right, I need to stop babbling because this isn't going to last forever. So I'm going to grab a quick shot now. So I've got the 11-16 Tachyna on, and I'm actually zoomed in at 16mm, but it's just because this is the lens that's on my camera now, so I don't want to waste any time. You know, I could have the 16-35 just as easy. And what I'm going to do with my composition is just do that. I'm going to have the sun bang in the centre, focus 1/3 of the way in, just where the waves are lapping on the shore there. Absolutely spot on. And that's it. I've got a little jetty coming in from the left-hand side. For anyone that knows the area, these are, well, they're everywhere, you know. They're very Morecambe Bay. So I don't mind having that in, you know. It just helps to tell the story. And that sky, look at that sky. It is as epic as it gets. So I'm grabbing this one now before the sun comes down because it's it just works. ISO 100, f8 and 1/160th, and it's a 3-shot bracket. Continuous high shooting mode. Oh, brilliant histograms. There's your dinner. That's all I can say. Look at him flying across. There is your dinner. Oh, right. This is ridiculous. I'm getting the long lens out. So this is one of those evenings. Look at this now, guys. It's one of those evenings where you just end up feeling a bit emotional because it's so, oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. So look at the light that is coming there from the left to the right and hitting the Lake District Fells. That's something else, and that's just what I'm trying to capture at the minute with the long lens. It's working quite nice, you know. Oh, that side light is special. So I'm zoomed in just under 200mm, and I'm going to focus on the mountains. And all I'm trying to do, because just as a straight shot, trying to make sure I'm focused over on Cumbria. Just as a straight shot is lovely, but the thing is, we're getting birds flying across. See that just then? See there, birds flying across the frame, right across the tops of the water, every now and again. And I've done this before. I'm shooting at 1/30 for f9, and it just captures the blur, the movement of the birds in this sort of blur. and it looks brilliant. So we'll wait for them to fly across. Probably should have got a few then. And the tones in the sky are just absolutely stunning. Oh, what a treat, right? We must make something of this. Wow. I think this is the sort of thing that only us photographers can understand. When it, I think actually kick off, you know my definition of kicking off. That headless chicken and everything's, you know, you're like a child and you can't control your emotions. I think these ones are a little bit different. I don't know what makes it different exactly. I haven't figured that bit out yet, but sometimes I am actually able to just stand back and admire what is actually going on in front of me, but yet still photograph it. Perhaps that is the art. Because it's the best of both worlds, isn't it? Sometimes I feel like I'm running around like a madman. Get good photographs, decent images, but I don't really know what's happened in front of me, and I think that's a crying shame. It really is. That was something else. So the sun has now it's just dipping down now below the horizon, which is just as special as it gets, isn't it? And I quickly, just after, I got them long lens shots. The birds are flying across the bay. What a show! What was I trying to say then? Yes, I was shooting with the long lens, and then as quickly as I could, I got the Tacchina lens out, the wide angle, stuck it back on. I was still at 16mm, but I was getting quite close in to this area here where we've got all these rocks, and I just had that setting sun in the top left hand corner of the frame. That's my setup there. Tripod back in action as well, what a treat. And it really was incredible. I must admit, it was one of them where I was kind of rushing around to find foreground, you know, but like I said earlier on at the start, at the very least I just kind of knew where to come, you know. I knew there was an area here where there's a lot of these rocks. Fortunately it worked in my favour because I was able to find some to use as foreground interest, but really that was special. Even this fella here, look, walking his dog, must be blowing his mind, like, because you don't get used to that. If you appreciate it like us photographers do, I suppose. It sounds bad because it's like no one else appreciates it. It's not what I'm trying to say, but I just never want to take that sort of thing for granted. That was special. So I'll show you the shot now. It was bracketed, manual bracket, just 2 shots, one for the foreground and one for the sky. It was a real high dynamic range, not really for the sky but for the sun. We were shooting directly into the sun. Special stuff. Special stuff. I'm so glad I chanced it. I always think that's a silly thing to say because it's not like you've got anything to lose. But you know what I mean. I kind of rushed out the gaff in the hope that I get 1 or 2 nice shots. I don't know what else to say anymore. I am running out of superlatives for how much I love landscape photography. The birds, man. The birds. Can you hear that in the background as well? There's one thing that I love about Morecambe Bay is that, yes, surrounding the whole, you know, the perimeter of the bay, there's towns, small towns, villages, there's a nuclear power station over there, but this is unchanged for however long, you know, because it's untamable, if that's even a word. Like, you can't do anything with Morecambe Bay. It's too changeable between the tides and the shifting sands, and there's something about that I love. You know, it's stood the test of time, of all that us humans have done. This has just been like this forever. I always think that about places, you know, like when the Romans were here, throughout the world wars, the Celts, the Neolithic period. Oh, and it's just been like this. There were people here, mark my words. They didn't have a Nikon D7200, but there were people here on these shores when there were none of these gaps about, looking at sunsets like that and thinking, oh, this is the spot. What a treat. There's your dinner, they were saying. However you say that in Latin, right? I am babbling. That was a peach. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you did, if you could give the video a thumbs up, that'd be class. Probably a bit of a short one by my standards, but sometimes they're like this. You just grab the gear and get out on the beach or wherever you are, whatever's local to you, and have a go at it. It usually doesn't work out like this, I'm sure we can all agree, but fortunately tonight it did. Thanks again, much appreciated, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Out.